All right, man. Here we are, another episode of TDM Talk. As y'all can see, man, I got a very special guest in the building, the OG himself, Sambo. How you doing, my brother?
Enjoying the day, enjoying life.
I feel like this has been a long time in the making, but then again, when I think about it, I'm like, nah, timing is everything. You know, as you being a believer, you know that everything is like seasonal, right? There's seasons for everything.
Already.
And hey, here we are, man. I've been. I think since we kind of met through social media, we had been talking about linking up and sitting down. I saw the J Vaz interview. Shout out to J Vaz that you did with him, and I was like, yo, that was such a dope and deep interview. And I was like, yeah, I got to get you on, man. And ever since then we've been, like now we got our own spot, and it's like, here you are. We made it happen, and so I appreciate you, giving us a little bit of your time. It's been a minute, man.
Yeah, it's been a minute. You talked about me doing an interview with J-Vaz. It's real important that we understand the power of networking.
Correct.
I think a lot of people in the city where we're running into roadblocks is we make ourselves inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
We don't reach out, we don't network. I think that's very, very important, man. So I appreciate you reaching out to me and staying consistent with the invitation. It's real important that we do that.
Nah, for facts, man. I always talk about just in my little journey with the podcast, and like I've already went to Minneapolis and did Pura Cultura podcast where I flew myself out there to be on their podcast. I want to expand what I'm doing. I want to let people know what we're doing, as a brand, as a company here in Houston. But I've been to Dallas, I've been to San Antonio, so I want to travel and take it. That's why I like what you said about networking, because that's what it's about, man. Like people want to just kind of they're happy with being local. Like they like that I don't want to say fake celebrity, fake fame, but it's I think it's like a false kind of fame because you're really just social media maybe, kind of popping or whatever.
There's levels to it.
It is.
You have the local level, you have the regional level, the national level, and the global level.
Yeah.
When I was in that prison cell, especially when I was in lockup and solitary in that seg, you're there in that 6x9, and then you have all these dreams, you have all these ambitions to travel the world. So we travel the world, in books through literary compositions, but then we get a hold of the, illegal cell phones. And I remember I used to go all over the world, bro, on the internet, Google Earth, just all over the world, bro, in that little bitty cell.
Yeah.
And I used to have dreams and I'd have ambitions to say, hey, man, I want my voice to resonate across the world.
Yeah.
Because I've read, books about people who, in their own singular status, were able to transform, great portions of the world with their message.
Yeah.
So, and it's ironic to just think on a local level because we have the whole world right here at our fingertips on the cell phone. It's real, real important, man.
No, that's true. You can pretty much I see people go on vacation, and sometimes I feel like I'm there, they're in these exotic places, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of like you. Like, my kids now have traveled way more than I did when I was a kid. Back then, for us, it was like going to Mexico and kind of back, and that was it. Our parents, my parents being from Mexico, like that's all we would do is go back and forth across the border. But to actually experience it, man, it's a different thing.
I was talking to a couple producers the other day, and the Houston culture has been exported around the world.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are coming to Houston, because they want to come. It's like a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
They want to come down here and they want to touch it. They want to see it. They want to feel it. They want to taste it. They want to know that it's real, and they want to get the fullness of it. So, it's real important that us as Houstonians, H-Town representatives, that, we embrace people that come in from outside of the state.
Correct.
But at the same time, we also have to, reach out and travel to other states and other cities as well. It's real easy. I was telling a friend of mine that since I've been home, I've met people that are in a deeper prison than I was when I was incarcerated out here that have never been to prison.
Yeah.
Excuse me, bro. Let me turn this off. That were in a deeper prison than I ever was.
Yeah.
While I was incarcerated. But I love my city. I love Houston. I used to have dreams of coming back to the city. When I see the skyline,
Yeah.
I remember when I got on the Bluebird and I was headed to prison, I thought I'd never come back. You know, it's like you're looking at the city before you leave, because you leave from the county jail.
Yeah.
Back then it was 1301 Franklin.
Yeah.
And you leave the city and you see it, and it's all the memories, you know, you take it with you. And it's like, man, I may never come back because of that particular situation I was in when I got locked up. And to come back and to just see that skyline, to embrace the culture, because everything we have in the city, you know, we created on our own.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that you said that, man, because a little bit backtracking to like the people from out of state, and you know, we got people that actually tap in from like Canada and the UK that watches, and then we just had a Embrace the Culture 5-year anniversary annual event. You know, I like to consider it like our Super Bowl or our, you know, WrestleMania for wrestling fans, like the big event of the year for us. And we had literally artists from Delaware, Washington State, Atlanta, Maryland, coast to coast. Artists came down, flew themselves out, man, to want to. They just knew that Houston, like you said, Houston was the place that they felt they needed to come tap into the Mexican, you know, movement, the Latino movement as well, because they do Spanish music. They are Hispanic, and in those areas they don't have that. They don't have the crowds like that. So they were like, man, we'll come down there. I'm like, hey, if you're willing to come down, I'll put you on a stage. And man, shit, we made it happen, and it was a blessing to see that.
Houston has a lot going on.
It does.
And I think sometimes we miss it because we grow up here. And
Take
we
it for
don't
granted.
we don't realize the magnitude of what we have.
Yeah.
Some people do, and some people, you know, they maximize, you know, whatever it is that they touch base on. And you know, we only have one life to live, and whatever brand, whatever movement, whatever, you know, it is that, you know, you think is your purpose, you know, we all have to come together. I think that if we understood the power of unity, because Houston has a lot going on,
Yeah.
a lot going on,
A lot of talent.
Yeah, a lot of talent.
A lot of hustlers. I mean, it's hustle town. I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
we have everything here, brother. And we just have to remember that the world is bigger than just this
Houston.
geographical location.
Correct.
You know, and until you get on them airplanes, until you start thinking on a global level, you know, like your brand, you know, you're a global media company. You know, you operate here out the city, but your reach is far reaching. It's global.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how some of these big corporate entities, you know, that's how they operate, because that's how they function. That's how they think. That's how they implement their plan of action and do the things that they do. And there's so many hidden treasures in the city.
Yeah.
So it's a 24-hour city now.
Yeah.
30 years ago, when I went to prison, I remember at about 11 o'clock at night, the freeways, you know, there weren't that many people.
Yeah.
There weren't too many places open. Now it's all night, all
You couldn't
day.
find 24-hour like Jack in the Boxes, like how they're open now. Whataburgers and the Jack in the Box is 24, or your Dots or whatever. You know, like there was very few places like that back then. I remember, and now it's like you damn near can go anywhere and it's open. You know, they got Walgreens that's 24/7 now. Some of them, you know. So, now I hear what you're saying, man. No,
Culturally, nobody does it like H-Town. Culturally, nobody does it like H-Town. Nobody.
people don't understand. People outside, and I've always it's like when you're not from Houston, I can see why you would think a certain way about us, but you have to literally be from here to know how we think and operate. It's unexplainable because no disrespect to any other city, Dallas or any of the other Texas cities, but there's nothing like Houston.
Yeah.
I've said that before, and I'm gonna say it again. Like,
And we embrace everybody, bro.
yeah, we do.
You know, Houston's open for business with everybody. You know, it's a great place to raise families. It's a great place to do business, set up shop, and that's what I want the world to know. You know, that we're open for business. You know, you're not gonna come down here and be blackballed or stonewalled from achieving your dreams. If anything, we're gonna create other opportunities for you to solidify whatever dreams and ambitions you have, no matter what it is. We have everything here, bro.
Yeah.
Everything here, man. We have everything. And my dream, bro, for everybody, like individuals like yourself and myself and other people that I deal with, is that they win. But sometimes we can be our worst enemy, our own greatest enemy. We can stop ourselves before we even get started. This stuff don't happen overnight.
No.
You just have to stay consistent and continuously have the dreams and ambitions to reach to the next level and to the next level.
Yeah.
So
earlier you touched on like when you went to prison, and I see now that you're going to the prisons, and I know you had Peso with you. I think G6 went with you. Shout out to them. But backtracking a little bit, how long were you in prison for? For those that don't know,
I did 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah, 30 years flat. In prison. Yeah, for murder I didn't do.
Okay.
Yeah, I took the rap for it because, stuck to the G code, didn't snitch on nobody, and took the little lick and went down there and came home. Initially I was upset when I got locked up. I was mad at the world, young and out of control, but as time progressed, you start knocking out decades and decades while you're incarcerated. You have to start, you cross certain crossroads, you meet certain crossroads, so you have to make certain decisions,
At what point in that 30-year span that where you had that change where God came and spoke to you and you just said, you know what, I'm gonna give my life to the Lord? At what point during that time did that happen?
It was progressive.
Okay.
It was progressive. But you're surrounded by so much negativity. Correct. You're in a hostile environment. Whether it's racial tensions, gang tensions, whether it's people going through depression, frustration, anger. Prison used to be, you'd have to deal with an onslaught of negativity 24 hours a day. And so little by little, the prison system began to change, right? And the administration began to open opportunities for us if you want to get in these peer-on-peer groups and so forth and so on. And, and I had a few people that God put in my life. My wife, he sent her to me, our daughter, a couple other people, security threat group officer, which is a gang officer, even some staff members, and they were like, hey, you got too much potential to throw it away being, constrained to this one particular lifestyle, which, I was gang banging at the highest level. And, those little seeds that were being planted by the people that truly loved me and truly seen my potential, when you're in that cell and you're all alone and them lights go out at nighttime, or you're in ad seg and lock up, you have to reflect. You have to think about all this stuff, man. If you don't, you'll succumb to the environment. And ad seg, people commit suicide all the time. People, they lose their mind. They become, a shell of the person that they were when they went inside. Prison will strip you of your manhood. Prison will strip you of your identity. It'll make you something that you thought you never would ever become. Sometimes it makes you an animal. Sometimes it breaks you down from the inside out. So just imagine 30 years of dealing with this day in and day out. So while I'm in lockup or while I'm in the cell, in order for me to survive, I have to think about all the good times. I got to think about the people that truly love me. So what am I going to do? Because I know why I'm here in this situation, what I'm being loyal to. But this is only going to keep me down in this particular situation if I keep making these negative choices. But the people that love me, my wife would go see me every weekend, brother. She waited for me 26 years. We're real close friends. And when she began to see that my changes were real, and she said, okay, let's move this relationship in a different direction. But, you're in there and then you say, okay, well, I gotta do something different, man. And you always hear, me, I never went to church when I was out here in the free world before I got incarcerated. But you start, they give you a Bible wherever you go, or a Quran or a Torah. You know, and you always keep your Bible with you in prison because that's where you keep your addresses. You know, because nobody, they're not going to let you take anything else to lock up
Yeah.
but that.
Yeah.
And so I just started reading my Bible, man. I think I had stabbed two people. I had stabbed two people in an 8-day period, and they had put me in double door lockup. You know, and it was like, man, you know,
What is that? What is double door lock?
where there's nothing in the cell at all but a concrete slab
Yeah.
that's set in a hole in the ground to use the restroom, and they put you in there. You're butt naked. You know, if you act right, they'll give you a paper gown. And then so they got that door which is solid, and then they have another door on the outside, you know, that's solid.
Yeah.
You know, some of them have bars outside, but it's two doors, right? It's windowless. There's no window. So you know, I mean, we've heard it a million times where people will say they cried out to God. If you're real, then prove to me that you're real. Because that's the type of person I've always been. If you tell me something, you have to show me.
Yeah. Actions always speak louder than
Yeah,
words,
actions
right?
speak. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because we hear it all the time. I know people. You know, I work with a guy that constantly would be praising and you know, but I be seeing the stuff he be doing, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like you're. And not to be a judge, but if I'm a person that's not a believer and I'm looking on the outside looking in, I'm like, man, that's what it is to be a Christian or whatever, a believer. I said, man, I'm good on that. So I can see what what you're saying, because with my faith, man, God's done so much and showed me so much specific moments in my life that I prayed for specifically that He answered to the T. Man, can't nobody tell me no different, bro.
You know, and then so, you know, I just cried out. I was like, God, if you're real, then get me up out this situation, man. Give me a new heart, because I was filled with so much. You know, I never had no regard for human life, man. I was, you know, I was, you know, I just lived and died by the gun. Yeah. Basically, that was my mentality. You know, it was do or die. Yeah. And I cried out, and God just, you know, He opened that door for me, bro. You know, He opened that door for me, and little by little, He began to stir my spirit and say, hey, you know, you've been called to do more than just
sit in the cell and
to just do all this negative stuff with your lifestyle. We all, every one of us, brother, every one of us have a God-given purpose, and every one of us can reach our full God-given potential and have a beautiful, beautiful life. You know, I'm not saying you have to have all the riches in the world, but God will give you the peace that surpasses all understanding. God will give you the strength that you need to endure the hardships, you know, to make sure that you get yourself and your family from point A to point B before you leave this earth, you know. And so when He opened that door for me and I got out of lockup and I got back in population, you know, my sister, who was my best friend, she had went into the hospital and she passed away. And that was the final, you know, the final trial that I had to endure, because she always used to tell me, you know, people think you're this, you know, big old monster or whatever, but I know who you are on the inside. You're my little brother. You know, when she passed away, I made a cognitive decision to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and be the person that God had called me to be. Though I had some, you know, we all have challenges, right? And I'm still growing every day. But the thing is, it's my submission and my commitment to doing the right thing is sincere and wholeheartedly. You know, I do everything that I possibly can every day to be a reflection of Christ, to glorify Him, but to make the world a better place, bro.
And for the record, man, to anybody that's watching, this definitely does not mean that in no way, shape, or form any of us are perfect. No, we all make mistakes. We continue to make mistakes. I think it's more or less that we truly acknowledge that our need for a savior, for someone to change us, right, is real, and we couldn't do this under our own strength, and that's why we need that, man, and because people have the misconception, right, of like a Christian, because and you could be a Muslim or you could be Catholic or you could be Buddhist or whatever, and you do something wrong, they don't really be tripping. But as a Christian, you do something the slightest, you say something wrong or you do something wrong, they be like, wait, ain't you, because I know I've gotten that.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
ain't you a
remember
Christian?
let me give you an example. Like in SEG, right?
Yeah.
In lockup, you're in the cell 23 hours a day. You get to come out for 1 hour a day just to go to shower or go to rec.
Okay.
Sometimes you won't even do that. I remember I stayed in the cell like 8 months because of short of staff. They come, they feed you through the bean slot. But in SEG, you have a lot of people that talk over the run. They talk crazy. They, and things happen after that. People will cut their cell door off. They'll make spears, poisonous spears, whatever, right? But sometimes you have them shouting matches back there. We call them cell warriors. And, we were on one wing one time, and there was about 5 Christian brothers on the wing that had left the gang life. And you had some active gang members on the second tier. So we were having church, on the cell block. And, one of the guys is like, oh, man, y'all brothers ain't real down there. Y'all ain't real. I said, well, we hadn't always been this way. But, when we was in the game, a bunch of y'all would stay in those cells, stay in the bunk. Now, you behind the cell door and you want to talk a little crazy.
Yeah.
I said, but let me explain something to you, brothers. I know your paperwork. I know your constitution. I know your bylaws, because I know what you're supposed to be adhering to in terms of your rules and regulations. But half you brothers in population, y'all not no real gangsters, man. Y'all not true to the lifestyle that y'all profess, but you always want to magnify what a brother does is trying to get his life together,
Yeah.
So I had to, we would go back and forth sometimes, but the brothers who are real, because I did a lot of time in lockup and SEG, man. And I know all the leadership and all the gangs when I was back there, I had to deal with them, And the vast majority of them brothers, they're tired. If you're really, truly dedicated to the gang life or to the game in general, you're going to get tired, bro, because your life is on the line every single day.
You got to constantly watch your back.
All day, from the jackers, from the ops, from the laws, from the snitches,
even from everybody. Even from within, man. Even from those around you, you don't even really know if you. Because you see it now, like all these guys getting locked up, and then the ones that's I'm ride or die day one. They're the first ones to tell.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, my brother, and I'm gonna be absolutely, open with you. These brothers that are in the game, if they got a way to get out, they need to get out, bro. Yeah. If they done got their money up, if they're still alive, if they're not fighting no Fed cases, if they're not on the investigation, because prison is nowhere to be. And I know damn well they don't want to be in no grave either. Yeah. It's good for the moment. Don't get me wrong. You living the life. You're caught up. You got a little spotlight, little money, little jewelry. But man, let me tell you, I know brothers that can't sleep at night. I used to be like that. And the only thing I ever asked God for was peace. Yeah. That was it. And that's, if you're in the game and you got a way out, go ahead and get out. Step out the way and be that example that we need to be. Because I'm going to tell you, since I've been home, I think I've made more money legitimate with my business interests than I ever made when I was in the game. Doing kick doors and everything else, hitting stores and all that. I think I've made more money legitimate than when I was in the game. So, it's not a matter of, it's a mindset, bro. Yeah. That's what it is. It's a mindset. And that's my prayer for the brothers that are in the game, because I've had to bury, since I've been home, I had to bury a 5-year-old because a stray bullet from an AK, shot her face off. I had to bury a 12-year-old, a 16-year-old, bro. And I don't know about anybody else, but me as an individual, that don't sit well with me. No. If I'm gonna represent the city of Houston, I'm gonna do it the right way, bro, which is being part of the solutions as opposed to part of the problems.
Yeah, not just talking about it, but actually doing something about it.
Yeah, because I'm tired, bro. The other day we had 3 juveniles get shot up at an apartment complex. A couple of days before that, another 2, got killed. And you turn on the news, and another juvenile gets killed. Another juvenile gets killed.
I worked at juvenile here in Houston for 14 years, man. I
It's
saw it all.
heartbreaking, huh?
It is. It takes a mental, because part of my last maybe 8-9 years that I was there, I was working the basement area there, and there, that's the intake, and then I was working the intake desk. So I would get them fresh off the cops bringing them in and reading their cases. I had access to read the files and the police reports, and I'm just like, yo, man, these are. And people would always ask me, what do these kids be doing? Same thing adults do. They just juveniles.
Yeah, I got to tour the Harris County Juvenile Detention Center about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
We went on the floors, and I got to speak to the juveniles. We have 49 juveniles at that time that were incarcerated for murder. And that's above the national average, right? So, my thing is to reach. I do it for the kids, bro.
Yeah.
I do it for the community. I do it for the parents, the grandparents, but I do it for the kids, bro. Everything that I do, everything that I sacrifice for, everything that I implement in terms of my program format that God has given me for my vision, I do it for the kids, bro, because I know that when I was young, if I would have had that mentor, if I would have had that program, then I wouldn't have I wouldn't have ended up in prison the way that I did. There's a brother that has I don't know if you know him, he has a program called Break Free. It's a dance program.
Okay, yeah. I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a brother that has a program called Break Free. And I remember when I was in prison, I wrote him a letter, and I told him, I said, hey, brother, if we would have had a program like this when I was young, I probably wouldn't even ended up in prison, because it's a sanctuary. If you go to the parks now, the parks are not the parks anymore. They're hangouts now. They're spots for the gangs, for the dope, or whatever the case may be, for the most part, But I'm sure there are some good parks in the city. But, we have to do everything we can to reach these young women. And if people want to get mad at me for doing what I'm doing to help save the kids, then they're the ones with the issue, my brother.
Well, it's like you said, you're at least coming with a solution to a problem instead of being the problem or complaining about it. Like, okay, if I'm not doing it right, then what? My question is always like, well, what are you doing about it then? You know what I'm saying? Because we're at least out here trying. I've been coaching youth sports. I talk to these youth all the time, man. Like about 3 years ago, I want to say, maybe 4. I hate that I don't know this, but a kid that I coached in Little League, man, was killed. Was in them streets.
Yeah.
And the last time I seen him was at this was about 3 years ago. Because when I saw him was about 4 years ago at a toy drive. And I was leaving, he was pulling up with some artists, and that's another thing that I wanted to kind of touch on a lot of, because you deal a lot with you've dealt with a lot of these artists, here in Houston. You got a lot of these youngsters, man, they toting the guns and they shoot, whether they're really living that life, I don't know, but that kind of thing brings about negativity, because I know the way, I'm sure you came up, and I know the way I grew up. If you flashed a certain lifestyle, there was people that wanted to come see you about that lifestyle. They want to know if you really about that life.
Yeah, I go back and forth with a couple of the artists that do that because, let's be real. This is Texas. We know that what people have access to, in this state. We have probably the laxest gun laws in the nation in this state, right? And for one, to me, it's ignorant. I'm just gonna be real. If you're doing a music video, a story post, or a post, and you're flashing, some type of heavy artillery, you're just building yourself a Fed case first and foremost. The feds are gonna get on. It's ignorant, bro. You're telling on yourself, right? But also, like you said, there's always going to be somebody that says, hey, well, let me see if they're about that lifestyle is real. There's so many interchangeable components to it. But to me, it's just ignorant, bro. I think that, these young men or these young women that do that, it's all about identity or notoriety. Yeah. They don't really know who they are, or they're looking for some notoriety. They're looking for the wrong attention, and they're going to get it eventually. Yeah. They're going to get it. I was dealing with a brother on the Cofield unit. He got indicted on a murder case. He was the first ever individual to get indicted from social media.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a young brother
I
named
was gonna bring that
Smiley.
up too, because
Yeah.
nowadays it's pretty much you is a lot of times they talk about, oh man, no snitching, but y'all really snitching on yourselves by doing this, by posting this stuff like you said on social media. So that's crazy how
I blame the management, artists or
yeah
people in general.
yeah
Their OGs or their management, whoever it may be. Apparently, they're not giving them the game the right way. And I mean, I'm gonna give it to them, but there's only so much I can do, right?
correct.
Like I said, I go back and forth on the DM with some of these artists, and I let them know, hey man, what you're doing. What you're doing is counterproductive, not only to the culture, to the industry that you represent, but to you as a person, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's made me like there's a lot, there's quite a few of them that I like, that I see them like, man, they jamming, but the content and what they portray, I can't have that in my events, because the events we have are very family
family
friendly,
oriented.
family
Yeah,
oriented. Kids are there, the abuelas, tios, all that, they're there.
yeah,
And I can't have these guys talking about shooting the ops, pulling the blicky out.
yeah.
Like I can't have.
And some of the brothers, that I course that I labor with for the kingdom, they'll say, "Hey man, why are you over here with these brothers? Why are you over there with them brothers?" You know, the thing is that you'll never bring about the change that God wants if you steadily preaching to the choir.
Yeah,
If I stay in the church house,
nah, you gotta get out.
I got to get out there on the front line, and I know that a lot of these young men and young women in the music industry, they have a lot of influence, right? And what greater influence or what greater message can they give when they first and foremost acknowledge God, right? But second, you get to witness their growth as they go further, because there's a lot of these guys that I deal with that used to do that on a very, very regular basis. They don't do it no more.
Yeah,
I was dealing with Gotos. We had a conversation about 2 years ago, and because he distributes a lot of these artists,
correct.
and he says, "Man, you know what? I understand what you're saying." He said, I'm a lot of the artists that I deal with in the posts that I post, there's not gonna be any guns being displayed anymore."
Yeah,
He said, "But it's gonna take me about 10 years to kind of wash that through my system, because you have to put more content, more artists on top of the
yeah,
ones that, are already established, or the ones that are already doing it."
correct.
And he said, "It takes about a decade." He said, "But I'm gonna make that commitment." And he gave me his word, and he stuck to his word for the most part, up to this point. And, I'll get a call sometimes, from these brothers at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, bro. And it's like, man, I'm tired.
Yeah,
Pray for me, my brother. Pray for me. Hey, brother, man, come by the house. Let's go have lunch. I need somebody to talk to. So what I do is I function in the capacity of a spiritual advisor, and I want to let them know if they invite me somewhere, I'll come out if I have the time to show up. And I'll be there with them to let them know, as a believer, I'm not going to judge you, but I'm here, man. I'm here
yeah,
for you, brother. I'm here for you if you need me. And that's what we need, because you, yourself, me, we all have trying times. We all go through hardships.
yeah,
And if I can't pick up that phone and call somebody in my time of need, then usually I succumb to the means that I used to succumb to either cope with my adversity
yeah.
or to lash out, in a manner that's unjust to what I need to deal with at that particular time in a mature manner.
Correct.
You know, I,
I, I just want people to know that if you're watching this, man, and you feel like this is you, and you feel like you got no one to run to, look, y'all know our Instagram. Y'all know that you can comment down below. If you just really need someone to talk to, man, I'm always available. I always answer, my DMs for the most part. Usually within the few hours, I'll reach out. Like, don't ever feel like you don't have anybody, because as me being an older guy, in the industry, in the game, or whatever you want to call it, I feel like it's my duty to also, and I have been doing it with certain cats that's been around me. I'm like, hey man, like switch this up, or hey man, it'd be better if this, and even just life in general. Forget the music part, right? The music,
Yeah.
all right, let's forget that. Let's focus on being a better parent, being a better person.
Right.
A lot of us that got kids, like, yo man, be a better father, man, because the kids need us, bro. Trust me.
And a lot of the artists, bro, that I deal with, you can tell that they're conflicted.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, because I know some men that are great parents, but then you listen to their music, and it's like, shoot them up, bang, 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 right? Yeah. But they've learned to separate the entertainment, from what's going on in real life issues, right?
Yeah.
And then I always tell the guys that are in the music industry that I deal with, remember, it's a means to the end. You have to understand, you get this money, invest it, buy you some properties, buy you some stocks, invest in something, because this is not going to be forever. And some brothers, they're going to ride it out till they fall, till they crash out. But I think that we're lacking in leadership in our community, bro.
That's true. I agree.
Because, and I've dealt with people on all levels, bro. I've dealt with politicians, law enforcement officials, educators, clergy, the dope boy, the you name it. I've dealt with all of them, my brother. And I think this is our greatest mistake. We tend to judge people, right? We tend to judge them. Hey, brother, you don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be doing that. But that's what pays his rent. That's what pays his bills. That's what takes care of his, puts food on the table. So how do we come in and how do we supplement that? Yeah. How do we tell them, hey man, there's a better life. There's a better way. We have this avenue over here. That's why it's so important to network,
No, I agree, man. I'm glad you said
I talked to a brother the other day. He spent $100,000 on a chain, right?
Man.
I said, bro, you could have put down on two properties and refurbished them and turned that 100,000 into 250,000, bro.
Yeah.
Easily.
There's so many ways you can flip. Like you could have took that and flipped it, and where you had just income coming in,
Right. And I think it's a lack of education, bro. It's like when I worked for the city, when I was downtown at City Hall, you go into these communities and they have absolutely no idea that the city offers all these services. We offer, victims assistance, help you with burials. We have rentals assistance. They have, mentorship programs. They have workforce solutions where they direct you, and it offers. They have a vast array of programs, services that are available, but it's a lack of education. And I think it's the same thing with us, because a lot of these young men, they need that. They need that you, David. Yeah. They need that me, Sambo. They need us to be accessible, and they need us to be available, because the people around them, most of them are just riding their coattails to enjoy the limelight and to reap the financial benefits of whatever may come their way, right? But when you truly, truly have people that love you, and you truly, truly have somebody that cares about you, they want the best for you. They don't want you to wind up in jail. They don't want you to wind up in prison, Yeah. They want you to be the best person that you could possibly be for the longest possible manner term that you can possibly be here on earth.
Yeah. So any of you YGs out there listening, man, you got two people here that you can at least reach out to in some kind of fashion, Instagram, whatever, and we'll be able to at least help you out, put you on some game, or even just even pray for you. I know I'm always down for some prayers. So people underestimate prayer. I mean, but again, it's like you said, it's the lack of knowledge and information that they don't actually have.
We have a lack of leadership, my brother, in our community. I'm just gonna be real. Yeah. We have a lack of leadership in our community. And until brothers stand up and step out and be the leader that they've been called to be, we're gonna continuously have these problems, because collectively we're stronger than we are individually. Man,
you're right.
A lot, and when I say we have a lack of leadership, then I hate to put it this way, that means that we have a lack of real men in our community, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is a result, because the man is the head and not the tail.
Correct.
So if you tell somebody, hey, my brother, you're not acting like a grown-ass man, you're acting like a kid, Switch it up, stand up, step out, and be the man that you've been called to be. Yeah. What happens? Their pride gets in the way. They usually get in their feelings.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's the facts. There's a lack of real men in this world, my brother. Real men provide, real men protect, real men instill the proper principles that they need to instill in their children, and they network with the people that they need to network with, man, so that way they can continue to flourish as individuals. And I don't like to be controversial, but since I've been home, I've ran into some grown ass men that have feelings like a little kid. Yeah. You say the wrong thing to them, or you say no, and the relationship is gone. Or they get in their feelings, or they get on the internet and they go to talking crazy or posting crazy because they're in their feelings, right? Real men understand no.
No, because again, I say this to anybody that's around me, like, man, if you ever feel like I did you wrong or said something wrong, tell me. Like, don't let it sit. Because when you let it sit, it causes a bigger issue later on down the road. I'd rather you just confront me and let's talk about it. I don't have no problem being corrected, or hey, maybe you just misunderstood what I was saying or how I said it. Especially when there's text messages, it's like the text message thing can kind of. I've text people and they're like, I kind of feel like an attitude. I don't know how, but I can see how that would be, because I've read stuff where I'm like, yo, are we good? Because it's kind of coming off kind of strange, But
you can't be in your feelings.
You can't.
See, in prison, people say prison, whatever they talk about the negative connotations of prison life, but in prison you have no choice. You're either a hoe or you're a man. Yeah. Period. You have no choice. There's no time to get into a soap opera episode over here, or no back and forth over here with this individual. It's either you're gonna be the man that you need to be and hold your ground and stand on principle, or you're just gonna be a hoe. Yeah. And believe me, I've seen a lot of strong individuals break because they didn't stand on what, their principles as a man. Yeah. And it's out here, some people get in their feelings about the smallest thing.
I already know.
They may think something's big, but in retrospect, it's really something really small.
Yeah, I agree. Man, well, switching topics a little bit, I know you just mentioned soap operas, controversy, things like that. It's been a minute since, I guess since I've seen, you on social media or any other, like a podcast. Well, like we talked about this off camera. There's not too many podcasts, people doing stuff out there. But, I did see something that kind of sparked my attention, with the whole SPM thing. Mm-hmm. Like, what's the because I know because people know you pretty much from that, right? Either they know you from like the streets, or you being the affiliation with him, But then I've seen where you were like pretty much saying, you're not down with what's going on. So what changed, I guess, is what I want to know.
Well, I've been knowing Carlos for about 40 years, 45 years, all my life.
Yeah.
We grew up together as kids.
Okay.
But I measure a man based on their character.
Okay.
And I love people with God's unconditional love, right? But at some point you have to you have to let people be themselves. You have to let people be themselves. I'm all about change.
Yeah.
If me and you are going to connect, I don't care who it is. If me and you are going to connect, then we're striving to take things to another level.
Correct.
Even if it just means spiritual growth, character growth, whatever the case may be. Yeah. I don't look at SPM. I look at Carlos Coy. Yeah. SPM to me,
because the relationship was there before.
Right, but SPM, the whole rap, the whole music, none of that means anything to me.
Okay.
What means something to me is his soul, his spirit, where he's going to spend eternity, how he treats other individuals, I'm there in the capacity to where if I can help you, if you want my help, I'm going to help you, right? Mm-hmm. As a brother, I'm going to help you.
Correct.
But if you don't want my help, then I'm not going to help you anymore.
Yeah.
I want the best for that brother. I want the best for Carlos Coy. I want the best for him because I want him to come home and be the best father that he can be and be the best husband that he can be.
Yeah.
That's my desire for anyone, you know. And I don't pick sides. I don't get into the whole controversial back and forth what he's in prison for and X, Y, and Z. I don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not here to condemn or to judge anyone. He has to fight his own battle.
Correct.
You know, he has to declare to whoever, whether it be his mother, his kids, his wife, first and foremost, and then to his fans.
Because you got the
right?
people that are like this. The fan base is so strong and supportive of him,
Right.
And even when people say, "Man, you know, you still support him in spite of what he did," you know, and there's people that will flat out that I've read in comments like, "Yeah, you know, like I care about." You know, there's always a great debate about separating the music from the actual individual. The R. Kelly, you got the R. Kelly, the Michael Jackson, and countless others. But you know, when it comes to him, you know, it's always that great debate. Like you show support, you get that negative reaction from some people.
Well, as a Christian, right, and as a grown man, I don't care what nobody thinks. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. But I'm not gonna be out here acting reckless and just doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
Right. You know, what I care about is an individual's growth.
Yeah.
Now, whether you, me, or anybody on this earth find conviction in anything that we say and anything we do, then we need to rectify that with the people that love us the most.
Correct.
And the people that believe in us the most.
That's what you got to hang on to, I think. If somebody's riding for you, because like you said, if you don't, and that's what I was going to ask, like, is that where, like, the disconnect came from, where, like, maybe he just didn't want your help or your advice anymore, and then you just kind of said, okay, let me back away, or what was it that made you kind of take a step back and say, you know, we don't support?
Well, I did 30 years in prison, bro.
Okay.
And I understand the value of time.
Yeah.
I understand the value of time. And my time is valuable. Because tomorrow's not promised to any of us.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's not promised to any of us, you know. And the way that I deal with him is the way that I deal with everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible tells me that God is not a respecter of persons.
Yeah.
And I'm not a respecter of persons. I deal with everybody individually. But if you don't want my help, or if you don't want my advice, or you say you want it and you don't personally make it applicable to your life, then there's 7 billion people on the planet
that can use it.
And they can run with it.
I hear you.
Because, I mean, I empathize with the individual. You know, I empathize with Carlos, with his situation. I spent, 30 years in prison. He's going on 22 years in prison. But one thing I learned in the game, and one thing that I've learned in life, is that you have to protect your own. The only people that I fight for are the most vulnerable. The kids, the elderly, the impoverished, the handicapped.
Yes.
Those people, the people that are growing, trying to be more than what they are right now and try to fight and get up out their situation.
Correct.
And Carlos is a very, let me say, I don't know how to put it. He is, because of his notoriety and his popularity and because of his fan base, right, that he can deal with life issues on his terms. But God has a way of humbling us.
Yeah.
He has a way of humbling us. And I pray that God don't chastise him in a manner to where he finds himself at a point of brokenness.
Yeah.
But I pray for the brother. I love him with the unconditional love of Jesus, the way Jesus loved me.
Correct.
And the way I love everybody else on this earth, bro.
You can love people from a distance.
Well, when I go to prison, bro, and I do my ministry work in the prisons, there may be 400 or 500 people in attendance, sometimes 1,000. I don't know what everybody is in prison for.
Yeah.
I don't know what everybody's case is, right? So I'm sure there's people in there with some heinous cases, some crimes against, children, crimes against elderly people or whatnot. But I believe in the power of redemption. I
Yeah.
do. But you have to be sincere.
Yeah.
You have to be sincere. And that's with anybody, my brother. But just because this individual has some notoriety, we've all fallen short at some
Oh
point.
yeah.
But me as an individual, I'm here to protect the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's what I stand on. I stand on protecting the children, protecting the elderly, protecting the impoverished, protecting those that are in my circle, in my family, that need my protection, that God has called me to protect and provide for, and I pray for that brother, and I pray, that he comes home and at some point, he makes amends, with God and with his family and with, everybody in his fan base.
I like that. I like that because that's being a Christian. Like that's how we're supposed to. I got I got a couple of my brother-in-law is been in prison for 20 years already as well. I had a friend that I grew up with elementary. Actually, both of the guys that I know, both doing life in prison. These are guys I grew up with elementary
Excuse me.
to until they. I think my boy Jerry got locked up like in '99. Been in there ever since. I mean, that's when I graduated high school. And I think like, man, I'd still go visit them, man. I'd put some money on their books, I shoot them a letter every now and then, when I get a chance. Now it's all electronic, but I remember having to actually handwrite letters. But I
Yeah.
mean, hey man, those are still like what they did, man. Them still my dogs from like us growing up. Those are what I remember.
There's been a lot of doors open for me since I've been home, brother. A lot.
Yeah.
I've dealt with mayors, I've dealt with prison wardens, I've been in rooms with multimillionaires, bro. I've been state legislators. And the reason why these doors have been open is because my conversion, my transformation is authentic.
Authentic, yeah.
It's real,
And I think they see that.
And so, yeah, and that's what happens, man. And my message to everybody, bro, is that change is real. Mm-hmm. And when, let me put it to you in this particular, let me use this analogy. Say you have an argument with your wife, right?
Yeah.
And things don't go like they should go. It doesn't mean she stops loving you.
Yeah.
Or you do something that's contrary to the principles that your mother or your father tried to instill in you. They don't stop loving you.
Yeah.
They don't stop caring about you. Like my mother the other day, she said, "Mijo, I'm here if you need me. I'm here if you need me." And that's what I mean about being accessible.
Man, thank God for mothers. I love my mother. My father passed away 11 years. Pardon me, 11 years ago. And so right now my mom is everything. So.
And so the reason why I use that analogy is because a lot of times, bro, we don't understand. I wouldn't even say conflict resolution, because a lot of times it's not even a conflict. A lot of times we don't understand how to process our emotions, or we don't know how to process when we don't get the answer that we deserve.
Correct.
Not the answer that we deserve, but the answer that we want.
Yeah.
And it's like, say, for instance, I come to you and say, "Hey, brother, X, Y, and Z, if you can." "No, I can't, not at this time." Mm. But some people don't know how to, they take that as rejection or neglect. Yeah. When it's just that, hey, today is something impossible to do.
Yeah, I completely understand that, man. I've been on both ends of it, mm-hmm. And I completely understand.
My daughter, she'll ask me for something. I'll say, "Mija, I can't do it today."
Yeah.
And she'll be upset for a little while, and then I have to explain to her.
I know my kids are expecting a bag of Takis when I leave here, so I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll see. It's kind of late, but oh man, I'm glad we're able to talk about that, man, and then kind of staying on the same topic or so. I know your name and Manic's name been kind of drugged through the mud. You know, it's been almost like a campaign, so to speak. You know, because I see it everywhere, man. You know, we had the situation with I Am Lopez, which you were managing at one time, correct? Man, just what happened? Because that just kind of happened, and then it's kind of, you know, we hadn't really heard from you or Manic on the topic, you know. So
Yeah, I seen Lopez. She was at our event this past weekend. She showed up. She came out. Yeah, she shook my hand, and we really didn't talk much, but you know, she enjoyed herself that night, and that's what I want. She's very gifted, very talented, you know, but you know, I only hope the best for her.
Yeah.
And the way things evolve in that particular situation, you know, they could have evolved differently.
Yeah.
But what's done is done.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that she's probably the most talented as far as lyricist in the city of Houston as a female. You know, but more comes with that.
Yeah.
You know, being an artist, more comes with more than just skills. You know, and one of the things that I've learned, you know, just in my 52 years here on earth, is that in order to be great at anything, you have to be a great student. You know, and sometimes, you know, some people are not receptive to whatever instructions you may be trying to give them or whatever the case may be. But I only wish the best for her, man, in her career. And I think that she has the talent to go to the next level. You know, that's my desire for her. Yeah. I did a few things for her while I was managing her, and you know, we helped bring those particular projects into fruition together, and real good projects. They done real good numbers, but things just didn't work out from an administrative perspective.
Okay.
You know, from an administrative perspective.
Okay. I was about to say, that's a pretty good professional answer. Like, cause
yeah,
you know,
well, me, man, when I do business, when I do business, bro, with any artist, and I work with several artists in the city and several artists in the United States, several.
Okay.
You know, I'm a firm believer in professionalism.
Yeah.
You know,
no doubt.
If you have a problem with me, call me.
Yeah.
Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Because you may have a problem and I may not have a problem. That's with anybody.
So were you shocked by all the records and the interviews and the constant, you know, bashing, you know, and
Nah, I mean, at the end of the day, my brother, you know, everybody's responsible for what they do.
Correct.
You know, everybody. And you know, when I do business, it's like when I was in the dope game. If I did business with you, then I did business with you, right? And it's the same thing in the entertainment industry. You know, some things are what you call non-disclosure. Some people don't know what non-disclosure agreements are.
I agree, yeah.
Some people don't understand, you know, the technical and administrative aspects of you know, some of the stuff that goes on in life in general, much less the industry. But I think with us, it was just a lack of communication, and things were moving so fast that, you know, you know, it's like I might share something with my wife today, and I may not, and I may say, hey, I did this yesterday, but you know, and she may say, okay, well, next time let me know before we get to point B. But I'm like, babe, there's only a certain amount of hours in the day for me to get, you know.
Trust me, I know it all too well. I'll be like, did I tell you this, and that? She's like, no, you didn't tell me. I'm like, man, I thought I did. And she'll be like, well, nah, it wasn't me. You know, I'm like, oh, cause don't, you know.
My thing is this, bro. Anybody I do business with, right? If you win, I win.
Yeah.
You know
that's
what
how
I'm saying?
It should be.
I mean, $10,000 don't make me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did 30 years in prison. Since I've been home, I probably made $1 million since I've been home. Profit gain.
Yeah.
Right? $10,000 don't make me. You know what I mean? But I can understand, you know, her perspective. I can understand their perspective. You know, one thing about me, I try to consider everybody's opinion, right? Okay. But my phone number is the same. It hasn't changed since I got home, and anybody can call me, you know. Yeah. Like I said, she's probably the dopest lyricist in the city from a female perspective. And I only wish her the best, man. That's all I can do when it comes to I Am Lopez. I wish, because I know that this rap game,
Yeah.
it can provide for people financially. I just signed a couple of contracts for Manic. As a matter of fact, I signed a couple very lucrative contracts, almost six figures.
And I was gonna ask, were you guys still working together? I just seen Manic at Powder's album release party, and I hadn't seen him in a minute. We spoke briefly, and he'll be coming by hopefully within the next week or so, and just
he's very gifted, very talented.
Definitely.
This music industry it has provided for a lot of people financially, and it can continue to provide for people financially. But every move counts.
Yeah.
Every door that God opens for anybody in the music industry, they need to understand that it's really not, and I hate to say this, it's really not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah. That's
because
so true. I've got so many opportunities since I've been back because of who I know, because people I'm around. And then me, and this is not me saying it, this is people that have told me that, like, man, you're a solid individual. I rock with you, da da da. So they'll throw you that alley-oop. They'll, hey, look, you should do an interview with this guy. This guy is solid. He got a good, platform. So I get it, man. It's who you know.
And you have to be able to separate business from what's personal.
That's been the hardest thing, I think, to learn, because we didn't grow up, we didn't go to business school. We don't know what it's like to run a business. You can't take business personal.
And one thing about me, and that sometimes people think I'm standoffish in that manner, but when I'm doing business, if I'm paying my bills and I'm getting this money, I can't sit down and explain everything at all times to everybody, because everything isn't for everybody, my brother. That's just business, If because there's so many people in the entertainment industry. People want to be rappers, they want to be singers, they want to be actors, they want to be writers, they want to be podcasters, influencers. And I'm going to tell you, bro, the worst thing that anybody can do in this industry, right, is to create conflict and confusion.
Yeah.
Because people start looking at you as a liability.
Because I'm that way. Because if I see someone doing the most, always in some drama, always, it seems like it's always something, right? It makes me just say, you know what, I'm good. Right. Regardless of the talent, regardless of whatever, I'm good. I'm going to just go this way, because a lot of us are at an age where, like, we've been through that at a younger age, and we don't want that around anymore, and that kind of energy,
But when you understand business, bro, when you understand business, right? If I go into Walmart right now, they're not going to give me no discount if I don't have my full pay up in there, right? And when I really began to grasp in totality business is when I started getting bills from my attorney. Every email costs, every phone call costs, every trip to the jail costs, every trip to the prison costs, every motion that was filed costs, right? If you understand that, right? When you understand that, the capacity, it's easy to run up a $10, $15, $20,000 tab, right?
Yeah.
Because
time is money, man.
Right. And one thing that I do not do, I do not cross that threshold, because I run a remodeling company, a painting company, tattoo operation, and my wife, she buys and flips houses. If I do anything with my people, we're gonna go have a business luncheon.
Yeah.
Because I never want to blur the line to make you think like, hey man, we're gonna count our losses and we're gonna cut our losses. No, bro, this is business right here.
Yeah.
This is what we do, man.
Yeah.
But if you win, if you finish the job and I finish the job, we all get paid, homie. Yeah. All of us get paid, bro. Everybody. And that's the whole objective. And I think that I learned them type of leadership principles and business principles when I was in prison. You have circles within the circles within the circles. And in business, you have entry-level management, you have mid-level management, you have upper-level management, right? Upper-level management don't communicate everything to the entry-level, right? And some people don't understand that, bro. They don't understand that, man. I deal with a lot of people on business every single day, bro. I mean, I did something recently that I really, really, really did not want to do, right? But it was a wise business decision
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do it, right? And so you have to be able to distinguish, you know, business from what's personal, man. And I think that's where a lot of people blur the line and it creates conflict.
Yeah.
It
Nah,
creates
that's true.
conflict, man.
Hey, if it's good business, let's do it. You know, regardless of how I feel about you as a person or whatever, if it makes sense, hey,
Right.
I mean,
The entertainment industry, bro, since I've been involved in it, you know, I've learned that in order to get the big check, right? You know, I mean the big check. I'm talking about the million, the 2 million, the 3 million,
correct.
the 5 million, the $10 million check, right? That because these people at these big record companies or these big media conglomerates, they're watching all the time. Who's hot and who's not. Who's marketable and who's not. Who's controversial and who's not. You know, and they don't want no liability. They don't want a liability. Nobody wants to deal with nobody's. I had to fire some subcontractors for one of my projects last week because I show up over there and they're all drinking. You know, but there's a liability factor to that, man.
There is.
You know, there's a liability factor to that, and I'm a firm believer in quality over quantity. I'd rather have three or four business interests, that are very lucrative and profitable, as opposed to 100 of them,
And none of them, you know.
and they're not going nowhere. And one of the things that I deal with my artists with is that I just got managed some very lucrative contracts, very, very lucrative contracts,
Congratulations.
man.
It's dope.
I mean, very lucrative, bro.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, I'd rather us sign 4 or 5 of these deals a year than 30 or 40 deals a year just to compound and equal to what we just got out of these 2 deals.
It's the whole nickel and diamond thing. Like, I don't want a nickel and dime. I want to go for the, you know.
Time is money, though, bro. And the
is.
rooms that I've sat in,
Yeah.
the rooms that I've sat in with some of these executives and some of these people in corporate America,
Correct.
they want to know that you got your business straight.
Yeah.
They want to know that you got everything laid out and everything like it's supposed to be. Nobody wants to invest in you $2 or $3 million and
you're
they
just
think
you're just winging it, you know.
Right,
You're just like,
no.
well, I think I'm gonna do this, or I'm, you know, I think, you know, and I get, you know what, man, I like, so right now I'm currently on a business owners series where we bring in, I gotta bring you back again, man, and kind of talk about just business, where we talk about things like that, because I think that's so important to know, because a lot of people, again, don't see the bigger picture. When you're running a business, you got to think ahead, man. You got to be 3, 5, 10 steps ahead always to
I've suffered some losses, bro, since
Yeah.
I've been home, but they've been losses that have taught me, and I've surrounded myself around good counsel,
yeah.
good brothers and good sisters, that they're not afraid to tell me the truth. See, I can accept the truth.
Yeah.
Some people can't
Oh,
accept
yeah,
the
no,
truth.
no.
Some people can't accept the truth.
And that's
right?
why they do get mad, because they know it's true. They just don't want to accept it.
Right.
And it upsets them.
And they're worried. A lot of people worry about what other people say.
Correct.
They worry about what other people say. But I'm gonna tell you something. You ride down the street right here, you go down the left or you go down the right, you're gonna see people everywhere.
Yeah.
Whether they're working at the gas station, construction, whether they're working on the roads, the pipes, the electrical lines. Everybody's at work, homie. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you don't get yours, you'll never have it.
Yeah.
You'll never have it, homie. You'll never have it. God gives you the ability to get up every day and to seize the moment. But if you don't seize the moment, somebody else is gonna get it.
Always.
And if you waste time over here worrying about things that are irrelevant, you're not going to get where you need to be in life. Mm-hmm. It's real simple, my brother. It's real simple.
Yeah.
You have to get up in the morning with the mindset that you're going to win.
Yeah.
But how do you measure that standard? Some people think that I measure a win because I make $2 million this month or $5 million this week. No, the way I win is to maintain my hero status inside my household first and foremost.
Correct.
With my kids and my grandkids and with my wife and
That's
my
your first
family
priority.
members.
That's your first
Right.
ministry right there is your
Right.
family.
Excuse me. A lot of people don't realize, like, it's an honor to be here in this room right now with you, right? It's an honor. This door's been open for me. I come in. I got to seize the opportunity, right? I have to make sure that the message God gave me is conveyed properly, and I'm able to plant seeds with the people that are, going to listen to it and watch the episode.
Yes, sir.
But some people don't realize that some opportunities only present themselves once in a lifetime.
Yeah. That's true.
Some opportunities only present themselves once in a lifetime. So if you don't seize that opportunity, it may never ever arise again.
Yeah.
And you may be chasing it throughout your career, throughout whatever the case may be. And you'll never attain it.
True.
Because the opportunity that God gave you to capitalize on at that particular moment, you didn't seize it during that season. You know, I was never supposed to get out of prison, my brother. I was supposed to die in prison. But God seen fit because he knows my heart and he opened that door for me. And ultimately, that's my goal, is to provide opportunities for people, whether it's a sustainable wage or whether it's a means to invest and to grow their capital, or just to be a better individual in terms of your character traits, right? And the principles that you stand on. Then I have to be a reflection of that. Now, people may not agree with everything that I say or everything that I do.
And they won't.
People may not agree with everything that you say and everything that you do.
Yep.
But in the back of everyone's mind, right? It's like I told my daughter the other day, I said, Mija, I love you and I'd do anything in the world for you. But you have to listen to my instruction. I wasn't born yesterday. I may not know everything, but I'm still a student. I'm still a student. If I don't have the answers, I'm going to call as many people that I know and seek the correct counsel in order to help with the decision that I need to make that's going to make things better for us generationally. Generationally. I'm not thinking about right here, right now, bro. I know people that bro, I mean, I went to prison, bro, for a federal drug conspiracy. I had 327 months. I was a millionaire at 15 years old when I was running the streets, right? I used to move tons of cocaine before I even went to prison while I was a juvenile, bro, on the streets, Tons of marijuana, tons of heroin, bro. Just money everywhere, right? Money don't make the individual, bro. Because we can lose it all, and if we stand on what we're supposed to stand on, we'll get it all right back, bro. What matters the most is the relationship. What matters the most is the resources. What matters the most is the network. What matters the most, are we standing on solid principles?
That integrity and character. I'd rather my name be good out here than to be out here robbing people, business wise, like, oh man, dude, because I hear it a lot from a lot of the artists that are out here. They're like, oh man, don't work with so and so, man. So and so get you for your money, and don't, we hear it all the time. And
you're not there's no money in the music industry, bro. Where the money is in the relationship. Okay.
So I always say this, right? My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like you use the music as a means to get to something else, right? Because like you said, there's no money in music.
Let me give you a prime example, right? Kendrick Lamar drops an album. He put Peso from Cali, Lefty Gunplay, right? Oh, Lefty this, Lefty that, his song, his verse. It doesn't matter, bro. What you think? It charted on the billboards. They charted on the billboards. Millions of fans, of Kendrick fans, now they know Lefty. Now they know Peso. Now these brothers that are Mexicanos, they're on a whole different level now. They're global now. Totally global now. Right?
I commented on a post where they talked about that, and I was like, hey, man, like Lefty's not my style of music, but hey, salute to the brother for getting that spot. They're like, oh, it was only this, it was like you said, it doesn't matter.
Lefty came to Houston, and we met up, me and him and one of his OGs that was with him, a brother by the name of Grim, and we spent the whole night together and chopped it up, man, and really, really chopped it up. He did time in Pelican Bay, and these brothers that God has given them this opportunity, or these sisters, right? That God has given, bro. Had it not been for the rap game, a lot of these brothers would be broke or dead or in jail right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's a matter of using the resources that you get to create other opportunities for people that follow in your footsteps, right? And to make things better for your condition at home, you know, at home.
Yeah.
But we sometimes we get caught up in the limelight and we stay stuck.
That's true.
And then what happens? All the spotlight, all the glitz and all the glamour, it's all gone. It's about sustaining whatever business model you have.
Yeah.
It don't matter if you're a rapper. It don't matter if you own a convenience store. It don't matter if you're selling paletas on the side of the street or elotes at the corner right here on Jensen.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If your business model is sustainable and it allows you to grow and scale, then you'll never lose, bro.
Yeah.
You're a brand, homie.
Yeah.
I'm a brand, right? These artists, these business, they're all brands, right? Ambassadors.
You gotta protect that.
So you got to protect your brand, you know. I remember a lot of the record labels, they used to have artist development people, right? Artist representatives, artist development.
Yeah.
They take you in, bring you in the studio, and they say, hey, don't do this, dress this way, do this, do that. And a lot of what's happened with the internet is that people, their independence, which is a good thing. We all want to be independent, right? But we live in a world of 7 billion people. And your customer base will only go so far, right? Yeah. It's like when I left Houston 30 years ago and went to prison, there was only one taqueria Aranda. Now they're all over the city.
Yeah.
They're all over the city, bro.
That's true.
You know,
you go anywhere and see and find one now.
Yeah, their business model, bro. It was sustainable. They grew to scale, maximized their profit gain. And now look at them. They're a staple in the 4th largest city in America.
We have YouTube. We have all this stuff, right? Like I watched. I don't know if you saw this on Netflix, but the story about McDonald's, how that started. Like the you know, whether how accurate it was or not, it's still a great story because there's McDonald's across the world. Forget the states or the city; they're all over the world, man.
Yeah.
And it's an inspiring story. Like, dog, look, he started from this, you know, and then and look where it is. It's global now. I know people go to China and man, they got McDonald's out there.
My brother, you and I, we have the same mental capacity that anybody else has. Mm-hmm. But do we exercise that mental capacity? You know, in prison, we read books, bro. I probably read over 2,000 books while I was incarcerated. Man. You know, my number one author is John Maxwell.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the 360-degree leader. You know, I preach out of the New King James Version, the John Maxwell edition. Okay. You know, and I'm big on leadership, bro. I'm real big on that because that's what defines a man. That what encapsulates a man.
Correct.
You know, that's what allows us to go out here into the world and be change makers, bro. You know, and we have to stand on that. You know, and if we don't, then what happens is we get left behind.
Yeah.
And our particular sphere of influence, it begins to diminish.
Yeah.
Then people will look at you as though, okay, well, you know, you don't make the right decisions. You got it, but you're not making the right decisions. So I got to kind of navigate myself and disassociate myself over here because you know what? My daughter's getting older. My son's getting older. You know, what do? So you have to understand, you have to put yourself in the best possible position to win.
Yeah.
You have to. And if you wake up today and you feel like you're not in the best possible position to win, then you have to make the necessary changes internally. Because at the end of the day, the burden of responsibility, who does it fall on? It falls on the individual, right? Yeah. Whether you're in a bad relationship, whether you're in jail, whether you're dealing with addiction, alcoholism, whether you're dealing with anger issues, decision-making issues, coping skills, whatever the issue is that you're dealing with that you feel is holding you back, then you need to learn to let it go, man. Yeah. And you have to work on yourself because we have to put ourselves. I can't blame nobody for nothing in my life, bro. Yeah. I made those decisions to sell that dope. I made that decision to plead guilty to that crime I did not commit. I made them, so I have to live with them. Yeah. You know, but I know now that I meet individuals like yourself. I say, okay, well, that's a good individual. You know, let's put some pieces together and let's continue to build and let's continue to grow.
Correct.
You don't want to take 10 steps forward and take 100 steps back.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that, man.
Yeah.
You know, we can get on this podcast and we could talk crazy about everybody, bro. Because podcasts have did that, you know. But you have a podcast that's filled with substance, and that's what we need.
Yeah.
We need some substance now, man.
We got people like yourself, you know, coming in and dropping just valuable like gems, like, you know, and that's what I want people to get out of. Like I said, we could have went maybe deeper into the controversial stuff, and it would, it gets all the views or whatever. But man, y'all missing the important, like what's really important, you know. And I only ask those type of questions because it's a part of my job. Like I'm at work right now. This is what I, you know, like you said, you go down the street. I'm at work right now. This is what it's something. It's just stuff people want to know. You answer how you want to answer it, and we move forward.
But you know, like in prison on the cell block, right? Yeah. You know, when you get up into that, and I understand your job, right? Yeah. But when you get up into the gossip, you know, in prison they call you a chismoso, a chismosa, really. You know, just a gossiper, right? You're trying to create problems. And one of the things that I've learned in my lifetime is that there are some people that they don't play them games. Yeah. You know, some people play them games and they have to deal with the consequences either now or later on or whatever the case may be. But I know one thing, bro. I don't put nothing past nobody. Yeah. So I'm never ever gonna try to taint anybody's name. Yeah. I'm not ever gonna try to talk down on nobody because I'm here to lift people up, right? Yeah. I'm not here to break people down. No doubt. It's not difficult to break a person down. No. It's not difficult to I mean, you know, it's not difficult to do anything in this world, right? If you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want to do. Correct. But my objective is to build people up. Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. To me, it don't even matter what your faith is, right? I'm going to live my life and follow my faith and make my decisions. Regardless, right? I don't have no problem paying my bills, bro. Yeah. You know, I don't have no problem running my businesses. I don't have no problem going to church on the weekend, taking care of my kids, providing for my family and for the people that I love the most, right? And creating opportunities for other people. I don't have no problem in this world at all. If anybody should be in a particular mindset and be mad at the world, it should be me. But I've been there and I understand the consequences, right? Yeah. And my thing is, if everybody on this earth would wake up in the morning and say, you know what? Life is a blessing. It's a gift. Correct. I'm going to make the most of it. Yeah. Then that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. If people were to do that, the world would be a far greater place. Yeah. I'm not mad at you for what you got. I'm not mad at this individual for what he's doing. I'm not upset at this individual because of whatever reason may be. You know, I'm going to come at everybody on a level playing field.
Since I've gotten into this game, this is all we wanted to do was just connect the dots and unite everybody. Every event I've had pretty much just about anybody who's anybody in Houston on the underground level on our stage at one point or another in the last 5 years, right? It got to the point where we had to create other events to kind of supplement that because we would only do the one Embrace the Culture a year. And I'd stack it with like 18 people, you know, and then I got away from that, started kind of, you know, more quality over quantity aspect, you know. But I've had just about everybody on this podcast.
Well, let me ask you a question since you've been asking questions. All right. You said you've had probably everybody on stage that's an underground artist in Houston, right? And not to name no names or anything, but do you think that for the most part, the vast majority of them seized that particular moment and said, you know what, I'm gonna run with this opportunity right here and I'm gonna build on it? Or did they just stay stagnant? I'm just saying percentage wise.
I will say more took advantage of the situation because they got to network with other artists, and then I started seeing them work together, and then their network grew. And I see a lot of them get cool, you know, with other artists that they met there. So I think for the majority, a lot of them took it and ran with it. Then you got, you know, of course, the ones that just completely just, you know, fumbled it, and it happens.
A lot of people fumble the ball. Excuse me. A lot of people fumble the ball because they don't really understand the power of the platform. They'll fumble the ball.
Yeah.
They don't understand the power of the platform. You know, we just did a documentary about my work that I do in the prison system.
Okay.
And we're almost at 2 million views right now in 5 days.
Nice.
Right? Almost 2 million views in 5 days. And that's almost the entire population of the city of Houston.
Yeah.
For just say simultaneously, if they all turn their TV on. And nobody goes platinum nowadays in their first week. Yeah. Any artist, right? Yeah. But I hope that it's a testament that the message is resonating with people all over the world.
Correct.
2 million people, almost 2 million people in 5 days. And it's because it's a message that's built on sincerity, commitment, raw and uncut, the truth, right?
Yeah.
And that's how we all supposed to live our life, homie.
It's legitimate.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people right now, we can drive down the street right now, and I can guarantee you that a bunch of those houses, they're not homes. There's a difference between a house and a home.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that every marriage in there that we drive down the street, that house has a couple, that there are some people in there that are cheating on their spouse. Yeah. There are some people in there that are abusing their spouse, or they're, you know, whatever the case.
There are couples right now married that are miserable with each other, but they're under there for, you know, so. Yeah.
Are miserable from time to time. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. So what I'm saying is that you can see all these businesses right here, and I can guarantee you all of them are not profitable, right? So the thing is to wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to have that mindset to where I'm going to win. God lead me, God direct me, God instruct me, and if need be, correct me. And if need be, correct me. See, a lot of people don't want to be corrected.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to an artist the other day, and he's like, man, I got 5 albums, Sambo. I got over 30 singles. I said, yeah, and you're still broke, bro. Yeah. You're still broke, man. Yeah. Not that I'm not saying you're not a good artist. I'm just saying you haven't made the right decisions in terms of your business model.
I think a lot of them hinder themselves too, based on who they're around as well. Because again, you have that whole effect of like, well, they're around certain individuals. I'll stay away because I don't, you know, and that hurts them as well, you know, and they don't realize that, but because they're, you know.
So he was like, so what's the benefit of me working with you? What's the benefit? I said, well, I can get you on stage in some venues out of the state with other artists that are nationally recognized artists. I can get you some features with some nationally recognized artists. I mean, you want to do some acting? You think you could do some acting? I'll get you in as an extra in a couple of movies. Or whatever the case may be, we can explore any of the options that are available. But I'm not going to have you running around the city locally at every venue every week or every weekend and run you in the ground. No.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not. Just tell me what you want to do, and we'll implement a plan of action. And you know, and if you want to, I'll match every dollar that you put up. Yeah. But if you want me to put up every dollar, then you know,
I gotta get that back. You know,
I got the ownership.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll match every dollar that you want. I was talking to Gotos yesterday, and he was like, "Man, you know what, Sam? Because he's doing this thing called Brown Hollywood for the Mexicanos, right?"
Dope.
He was like, "Man, Sam, you know, people don't see the vision. They don't see the broad, major picture." Yeah. Right? He said, it's like this. You grew up in Houston, Texas. I'm sure you know somebody in the refineries that has a upper management position. You know, if you want to get somebody a good job in the refineries, I'm sure you got some connects, or you know somebody that has a connect.
Yeah.
He said, man, Gotos told me, I grew up on the West Coast. Well, what do we have on the West Coast? We have Hollywood. Yeah. We have every record label in the world.
Yeah, that's where everybody goes to chase their music dreams or their acting dreams. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
He says, so some of the same people I grew up with, because I've been in the industry my whole life, they have upper management positions. So if we have any artists that want to be in movies, if we have any artists that want to put out books, if we have any artists that want to be on nationally syndicated podcasts, if we have anybody that has a good story that they want to tell and they want to work, let's work. We're open for business, right? So, you know, I think that sometimes, bro, we reach the glass ceiling. Yeah. And we believe and we dream, right?
Yeah.
But we don't really believe, like TDM, bro.
Yeah.
This particular podcast right here, it started out as a vision, as a dream, and look at where you're at now. I'm listening to everything you say when you say, well, we did this and we had them on stage and I've interviewed this individual, right? So what I look at is I see a nationally syndicated podcast that is monetized through all these different distributors, right?
Yeah.
Online distributors. And so you seize the moment and you make it happen because it's possible, bro. Yeah. All things are possible for them that believe, but you have to continue to believe even when the struggle comes.
Man.
You know, how do you think I felt sometimes, bro? There was times when I was in prison where we'd have a riot and they'd handcuff us butt naked in the cold on the rec yard for 8-9 hours, bro, hog-tied.
Damn.
Butt naked, legs, hands, everything. You know, hog-tied, 8-9 hours, bro. People just got stabbed, people just got killed, you know, and then they put you in solitary, no property, no nothing. You're in there freezing. They throw you a little bitty bologna sandwich, you know.
Man.
But you know what happens? It's either going to make you or it's going to break you.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with life, man.
Yeah.
No relationship is perfect, whether it's a relationship at home or whether it's a business relationship, a spiritual relationship, whatever the case, nothing is perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, the thing is to work through the problems, not just go through them, but grow through them.
Yeah.
The adversity.
Yep.
Allow it to solidify your character, make you wiser, and say, you know what? The hardest thing that I've learned throughout my life is for people to accept the fact and admit that they were wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, when I came home, I had to apologize to my mother. Mm. You know, because she traveled that highway for 30 years. I had to apologize to my wife.
Man.
You know, for her having to spend that money to go see me, to work 2 or 3 extra jobs to hit that highway. You know, I had to apologize to my family for dishonoring our name as a family. You know?
Just be, you know, we pretty much almost the theme of it is just being of this whole episode is just being accountable, man. Like being a man to stand up and you know accountability. But man, I just got a notification. I'm running out of time, man. Any last minute shout outs, bro, before we get out of here?
And I just want to. There's too many people to name in particular, but I just want to thank everybody, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody that has supported me while I was incarcerated and when I got home. You know, I want to, my wife, man, who's had to deal with everything that comes from loving somebody in prison and supporting somebody when they come home.
For sure.
And all my close friends, you know, that have been here for me, you know, every step of the way when I came home. All the brothers that have been here to help me. You know, there's just too many of them to name.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I just want to thank everybody.
Yeah.
You know, God first and foremost. You know, I put all my trust in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You know, for just waking me up today. Yeah. But for the great men that have came into my life and have said, "Hey, Sam, anything that you need, I got you, bro."
Amen. Amen. Man, it was an honor and a privilege, man, to have you here, brother. I know it's been, like I said, a long time in the making. Feel God makes no mistakes. You know, it's perfect timing to me. We have to definitely have you come back. Now we got our own spot, so it's pretty much, hey, we just got to set it down and do it. We'll put a link in the description where you guys can go follow him, check out everything that he's got going on. We'll put a link to the video, the documentary also in the description where you guys can go follow and watch it and let him know, man, hey, you saw him on TDM Talk and you're now a supporter in what he does, and continue to support, man, in any way that you can. And this won't be the last time you see him here, man. So again, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Appreciate everybody that watches, man, from UK, Canada, Mexico, and all across the United States, man. We definitely appreciate you guys. And on that note, man, we are them damn Mexicans.